Mrs. Moon, and it's a pleasure to serve under you in this important debate. We've had so many statements from government and debates in this House talking about one or more of the issues of congestion, of air pollution, of obesity, diabetes, poor physical and mental health, and the decline in our high streets economies. Well, I have two solutions to all of these, which don't cost a lot to the public purse or indeed to our constituents, and they are cycling and walking. And I'm going to be mainly going to focus on the first of these, and that is having more people cycling more often to work, to school, to the shops, to visit friends and family, and all those other journeys we take as part of day-to-day life. Unfortunately, too few people in this country cycle regularly, and the single greatest reason that British people, most of whom own bikes, don't cycle as part of their daily or weekly activities is because of fear for their safety. If the road culture and infrastructure were safer, more people would cycle. So, Chair, Mrs. Moon, we need to normalise cycling in the way that many of our competitor countries have done as a safe and convenient activity for people of all ages and abilities, with all the health, environmental, economic and quality of life benefits that this would yield. And we can only do that if the government focuses on the safety of those who are on bikes and, of course, on foot. I want to start by expressing my concern that the government announced a new review specifically of cycling offences in 2017 in response to one admittedly awful case involving a pedestrian killed in collision by Charlie Alliston, who was riding illegally a fixed-wheel bike on the road which lacked a front brake. I believe, Mrs. Moon, that a much wider overhaul of our laws is needed, as promised by ministers over 4 years ago. I'm going to focus on key issues that reflect the main 5 headings of the Safe Systems approach, which were adopted in the government's road safety statement. Safer roads and junctions, which have been promised with new standards for cycle-friendly planning, so that they're consistently applied on all new roads and traffic schemes, in new developments and planned highway maintenance works. It cannot be right, Mrs. Moon, that new housing estates are being built in this country with not only no segregated cycle paths, but sometimes no footways either. The government should show leadership in all new developments, housing schemes, rail infrastructure and major roads, as well as leading on retrofitting our existing urban and rural infrastructure. We need work in every town and city so that we can all be served with a safe network of segregated cycle routes on main roads, safe quiet ways on minor roads, and safe accessible places to lock or store cycles. And that needs a shift of some, and not a lot proportionately, of transport capital funding. The earmarked UK government spending for cycling and walking in 2019-20 will decline to just 37 pence per person, just a fraction of the £10 per head called for by my group, the APPG on cycling, our Get Britain Cycling report in 2013, and by the Transport Committee's own 2014 report on cycle safety. Mrs. Moon, we ask the government adopts continental-style rules to give greater safety and priority to pedestrians at junctions, pedestrians and cyclists at junctions, as promoted by the Turning the Corner campaign of British Cycling. This is based on the principle that drivers turning at a junction give way to pedestrians and cyclists travelling straight ahead across their path. And we hope that this will be incorporated into the Highway Code. We need to build a nation of safer drivers. It goes without saying that all road users should respect the roads of the road and the safety of others. And this is a combination of education and enforcement, as other speakers have said today. We need better driver awareness of cycle safety, including new and consistent advice in the Highway Code, and reinforcing this through public awareness, strengthening roads and policing and the capacity to enforce, reviewing traffic laws and penalties to clarify, for instance, the distinction between careless and dangerous offences, making use of driving bans, reducing the ability of convicting drivers to evade driving bans, tougher penalties overall, and investing in cycle training for children and adults to give them more confidence in cycling on the roads. The provision is currently a postcode lottery, and such training does lead also to safe driving behaviour for those who've experienced it. After all, HGV drivers regularly include cycle training as part of their driving training. So some of the recommendations, I hope to make more today, but time is too short. And we look forward to working with the Minister on these recommendations.